Yo, what's going on, everyone? Good afternoon. It's the Flying Pig here on Flying Pig United with another cheeky little stream for you lads and lasses. We're back here with a cheeky daytime update for you of the latest Man United goings on. We're going to discuss it all in the next sort of hour. Thank you for joining us and getting in here for the show, guys, live. Do us a favour, smash that like button at the start of this show. Hit the thumbs up. Share us around. If you want to share us around, there is a link pinned to the top of the live chat. We'll shout everyone out who reposts us on Twitter a bit later on in the show. So do click that link. Give us a repost if you can. And get yourself involved throughout the show. It's a fully interactive channel. So get your thoughts and opinions in throughout. We'll dip in and out the live chat. We'll also get into the chat big time for a Q&A at the end of the stream. But plenty of news to get into today, folks. You know, some of it positive, some of it negative, depending on your stance, really, I suppose. But we'll cover it in this video. Hey, Justin Mabin, Mikhail Kramer, Stephen Shipman, Arsenal Manic, J United, Mikhail, the Musical Duke, and everybody else who's in here for the show. Thanks for joining us and getting involved. So, obviously, the day after the news came out in regards to Erik Ten Hag staying at Manchester United, reports last night from the likes of David Ornstein, Fabrizio Romano, etc., confirming that Erik Ten Hag is going to be staying on as Manchester United manager. You know, obviously we did a video on it last night. You know my thoughts on the matter. If there was a big, better manager available, i.e. one of the big daddies like Big Carlo or Unai Emery or, you know, Zidane or somebody like that who might be able to come in, then I think they probably would have sacked Erik Ten Hag off. But because of the fact that there isn't really, and they're shopping around in a bargain basement of absolute guff featuring the likes of Gareth Southgate and co., they've decided to stick with Erik Ten Hag. Plus, obviously, that FA Cup final win is a big factor in that. As we've said, if he didn't win that, I'm sure he would have been sacked off. But he hasn't been sacked off due to the fact, well, he did win the FA Cup. And he also, you know, is protected by the fact that there just isn't really the clear candidate manager who's available to come in and replace him. I mean, obviously, it's open for debate whether or not you think Erik Ten Hag is the right guy for Man United or not. I just look at some of the sort of facts over the years, as in he has won a couple of trophies. There's not the right people available right now, which means that he is staying here. And also, you know, if you look at the stats, though, for his season, I've got the stats here just out of interest. I just thought I'd look into it, see how he actually performs statistically speaking, wins, losses, all that sort of stuff throughout the campaign. I mean, this is what we've got for the 23-24 season. Obviously, 38 matches in the Premier League. We won 18 of them, drew 6, and lost 14. I mean, that is absolutely garbage, whichever way you look at it for a Manchester United manager. Champions League, 6 games, 1 win, 1 draw, 4 losses, dumped out the group stage. FA Cup, 6 wins out of 6. Get in there, my son, won the Cup. EFL Cup, 2 games, 1 win, 1 loss. Yeah. I mean, if we just look at those stats in terms of the season that he's had, I find it quite hard to believe he is actually still manager, to be fair, based on just how bad Man United were over the course of the season. But we did win a trophy, and as I say, there isn't really the right guy available to come in and take the job. So I think that's why Ten Hag's still here. Probably in a few months' time, if he's not performing, if he's obviously struggling by the likes of Christmas time, then there is a very good chance that they will probably sack him off and appoint somebody else then. But as of right now, it doesn't look like that's anywhere near to happening. Right now, it looks like they are going to back him. He is going to be the manager of Manchester United going forward. It's reported that Ten Hag is obviously very happy with the decision. So here's a report from Fabrizio that just says, Erik Ten Hag's happy with the Ineos decision. No personal issues despite a long review. He's only focused on the Man United project. His role in developing youngsters like Mainu and Garnacho has been a key factor as Ineos want to keep following that way, trust young players. Yep, so don't spend any money, develop the youth. And to be fair, that is what Manchester United should be about. And in all fairness, in that regard to Erik Ten Hag, he has done very well at the football club, developing talents, developing these youngsters. You know, you've seen the breakthroughs of these players like Garnacho and Manu, so I can't really fault his progression of the youth. What I can really fault is just the overall style of Manchester United's football, the way we've gone about it, the way we've conceded chances, conceded goals, the lack of quality going forward, the lack of attacking further. You know, there's a lot of problems. Will these problems be addressed in the coming season? Well, they better be, otherwise he probably will get sacked off at some point soon. But in regards to the new situation that's presented itself, it looks like Erik Ten Hag is currently close to signing a new contract at Manchester United for an extension as manager of the football club. So here are the reports from the likes of Simon Stone, who says that there are talks now underway over a new contract extension. Fabrizio Romano has said that talks between Manchester United and Erik Ten Hag's agents are already underway and advanced, with all parties anticipating an agreement on a new contract. Ten Hag happy to sign and continue the project, while Ineos want to give him total trust for the future. Work in progress. I've got to be honest and say, I can't believe this is the case, to be perfectly honest with you guys. I mean, are we absolutely mental? Is this the dumbest football club in the world? Like, honestly, I know based on some of our decisions that's taken place over the last few years, that probably is the case, yeah. But hang on a second. Signing Erik Ten Hag up to a new contract after the season that we've just had, when he's got a year left, is the most dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life, guys. Like, surely he's got to prove himself first before he gets a new contract extension. You know, okay, we did win a trophy. Nice. What about all the other guff problems that we had this season? Listen, I'm not against Erik Ten Hag staying on right now. As I said yesterday in my video, I think it's actually the right decision based on the fact that there's not the right guy available. There's not a clear candidate to come in, and Erik Ten Hag is here, and rather the devil you know than the devil you don't. I'd rather Ten Hag than Southgate, or De Zerbi, or Potter, or Pochettino, or any of those melts. I would rather Ten Hag stay on. But hang on a second. What are we doing by potentially rewarding him with a new contract here? That's insane. It's just absolutely rewarding mediocrity at its best. Yeah, I get it. They want to perhaps show their show of confidence in Erik Ten Hag and, move forward in as best possible situation as possible in terms of positivity. Nice one. But hang on. Aren't we just setting ourselves up to have to pay out this guy a big fucking, termination fee in 3 months' time, if that's the case? Or, unless there's going to be a clause in the contract that says unless we're in the top 4 by Jan, you have to walk for basically, X amount of money. It doesn't really add up to me. I don't understand why we're rewarding this level of mediocrity, to be fair. We haven't performed brilliantly over the course of the season. I don't care what anybody says to me. That's what I've seen. I've been a Man United fan my entire life. I've watched Man United every single season in my living memory, and the fact is, we've played the worst football that I can remember. So, what are we doing here as a football club by giving Erik Ten Hag a new contract? It doesn't add up to me. Look, he's got a year left on his contract, right? I believe his contract, as of right now, ends in the summer of 2015. So it's like, what are we actually doing by potentially giving him a new contract here? Or just prolonging the agony, potentially, that could take place? It remains to be seen whether or not it's down to a bunch of guff players, or it's down to injury problems, or if it's just down to Erik Ten Hag not being able to coach this team to the standard that we need. Time will tell on that one, but why are we playing with this scenario of giving him a new contract when he hasn't really earned it, in my opinion? I don't think he's earned it, guys. Yeah, okay, FA Cup win, fantastic. As I've just said, we've gone over at the start of the statistics of the season in terms of wins and losses. 14 Premier League losses. I mean, what are we doing here? We're Manchester United, for Pete's sake. We're not like in Everton. We're not bloody Luton Town. We're Manchester United. I don't really understand, to be honest, guys, about giving him a new contract. I get keeping him right now. I get rolling the dice. I get it. But I don't get signing him up to a new contract. That is absolutely bizarre to me. But that's just my opinion. I thought I'd give it you at the start of this video. Do us a favour, have a vote in the live chat, guys. Do you think Erik Ten Hag deserves a new contract? Yes or no? I'm not asking you whether or not you think he should stay, because as I've said, I think based on the current situation, the landscape as it is, it makes sense for right now. But do you think he deserves a new contract based on how we've played, how he's coached the side, how he's got the team playing? I kind of don't really think that anybody can really be really serious when they think about giving him a new deal. I mean, we might as well see how he gets on. If he does brilliantly this season, okay, fine. At the end of the season, give it a review and sign him up to a new contract if he's won the bloody Premier League, or he's got us challenging, or he's got us playing great football. Then give him a new contract. But it seems insane to me that they're discussing this potential new contract right now on the back of the season we've just had, and just further tying ourselves to Erik Ten Hag for several years, potentially, or at least tying ourselves to the prospect of having to fork out a huge amount of cash for a termination fee at some point in a few months' time. It's ridiculous. I mean, there's a bunch of different ways that this season could play out. Ten Hag could continue in the sort of mediocre vein that we had throughout the last season. He could potentially get us to play a lot better. We could sign new players. We could get rid of the guff players. We could have no injuries, and we could be a lot better off. Or we could even get even worse. And if that's the case, then I think it's just foolish to have signed him up to a new contract, personally. We've got a couple of super chats here. Let me read them out before I move on here, guys. But thank you for getting your say in here. A lot of people saying yes, to be fair. A few people say yes, yes, no, no, yes, yes, yes. You guys are insane. No, says Neil Driscoll. I mean, I just don't understand. Look, fair enough, keeping him makes a heck of a lot of sense based on what's going on. But signing him up to a new deal, what's the purpose of that? What is the purpose of it? To what? Galvanise the team? To show a show of confidence? It's going to cost you a shitload of cash to do this, and it could potentially all end in tears in a few months' time. It's absolute madness, to be fair, to sign him up to a new contract right now. It's absolute madness. I don't understand, but each to their own. It seems like the majority of the live chat thinks that he should have a new contract. But how many of these people are Arsenal fans? Mate, Grace Sheridan, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. Says no manager's getting higher than fourth with this squad. Grace, thank you very much for your super chat there. I mean, he finished in the top four the season before last and then signed a whole bunch of players for a couple of £100 million. So I personally disagree with you, Grace. I don't think we could get into the top two right now. But I think we could certainly finish in the top four, finish higher than fourth, you know, based on just the fact that the season before that we were able to do basically that, you know. So I don't know. I personally think there's so many good coaches out there. None of them are really available right now, but certainly if we could get one of the big daddies in there, I think they could turn this squad around and get them to be competitive, get them to finish third, or get them to, you know, be up there challenging. Not winning the leagues, because let's face it, the likes of Manchester City, they're very far ahead in their development, just as a team, as a squad, and they've got their settled manager and their tactics and everything. But I actually think there is a coach out there who could get a lot more out of this Manchester United set of players personally. I mean, we finished in the top four the season before, and then he spent a couple $100 million on players like Andre Onana, Mason Mount, Rasmus Højlund, shaped the side further in his image, and it's taken us backwards. So actually, I personally disagree, but okay, fair play. Paul S., thank you for your super chat. He says the decision has been made. Time to rally behind the team. It will be very expensive to sack him after the contract extension, which is designed as a blow against player power. Come on, United. Interesting take there, Paul. Interesting take. I mean, we'll see. I mean, player power is obviously a problem these days. If you look at the playing squad and how many players have just stuck here beyond the time that they should have done because they had a big contract. I mean, it is pretty insane. We've obviously got to move on a lot of these players big time. But, you know, I would be bang up for giving Erik Ten Hag a contract extension if we'd have actually had a really good season. But we haven't. It's like, what is the definition of insanity, mate? It's doing the same thing, expecting different results. That's kind of, I don't know, what we're expecting from this season. I mean, maybe we are hoping for a big improvement. I mean, it can't get any worse, in my opinion, but can it? That's the problem we've got. It's like, I think Erik Ten Hag is a good coach, but I don't think he's done exactly a brilliant job at Manchester United because of how he's managed the players, how he's picked the team, how he's signed the players, how we've got us playing, how we've conceded loads of chances, how we conceded loads of goals, how we're not playing attacking Manchester United football, how we finished 8th. You know, I just don't get it. I honestly don't get it. I get sticking with him for now and giving him a roll of the dice for a few months, but I don't get giving him a new contract. Yeah, you're saying it's designed as a blow against player power. Do you know what the biggest blow against player power would be? Getting rid of these shit players, lad. That's what the biggest blow against player power would be. Saying, no, you know what? It doesn't matter if no club wants you for X amount of money. It doesn't matter if you want to stay on your couple £100,000 a week contract. We're going to fucking terminate you, lad, a la Aubameyang at Arsenal or whatever, and make a statement and say, no, we don't want you. We want to move on with a new era of Manchester United. That's the best blow against player power, in my opinion. So I just... It boggles the mind. Thank you, Neil Driscoll. Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, there you go. Paul S., thank you for another super chat, though. He says, if you keep Ten Hag, you have to give him a new contract or we are right back to player power, sacking off another manager. I don't understand why. Can you explain, Paul? Why does that make a difference? Why does it say, oh, player power is, if we don't give Ten Hag a new contract, it's all down to player power? It's nonsense, in my opinion. Surely his job, just like the players, should be based on performance, And if these players have performed, they deserve to stay. If they've not performed, which a lot of them haven't, they don't deserve to be here. Now, these players that don't deserve to be here should be moved on this summer. We should see them gone. Now, don't tell me you can't sell these players. You might have to take a little bit of a financial hit, potentially on, I don't know, paying a remainder of a contract for X amount of money because these players don't want to go and join a team for less money because we've ruined our own wage structure at this football club and given absolute bang average players huge money. But I just don't see why that makes much of a difference. You're rewarded mediocrity by giving players like, I don't know, Maguire or whoever new deals. It's no different for Ten Hag, the manager. If you're a manager who's really done very well, then okay, fair enough. You're in a strong position to negotiate a new contract. Maybe you deserve a new contract. But 8th place finish, -1 goal difference for a huge club like Manchester United. I'm sorry if you got most average managers in charge this season. I'm sure they've at least scraped 8th place with Man United, a team that finished in the top 4 the season before and then spent 200 million in the summer. Craziness, man. I mean, if anything, it's just blind faith. That's what I think. So I just don't personally get it. How can you perform if you're injured? Well, okay, we did have a lot of injuries this last season just gone, but we also didn't make it easy for ourselves in terms of planning for the season. We should have signed players in much different positions, like another centre-back. We didn't do that, obviously. We should have signed, a couple of certainly another forward player. We didn't do that. We basically spent really badly in the summer, and that's why we were scraping around for the rest of the season trying to, cover all these different positions. We could have easily kept Reguilon on loan, who was a left-back that we had. Then we let him go back to Spurs. And it's like then we had big left-back problems. Just doesn't really add up. You've got to plan properly for the season, and we didn't do that. That's why we had such problems. Yes, the injuries were coming thick and fast. Well, we've got to have a squad capable of dealing with that, I'm afraid. That's going to happen. In top-level football, you're going to have periods where you've got a lot of injuries. So I don't think that personally makes a heck of a lot of sense. I get it. Obviously, this season, without injuries, we should expect to be a lot stronger. But we will have injuries this season. We just might not have as many, but we certainly should have, been capable of navigating those issues. Yeah, thank you very much there, Ethan, for getting your thoughts in. Says, I agree with you, Pig. I'm all for keeping him another season, but if he does well this season, then give him another contract. If not, then he leaves on a free. Spot on, agree with you, lad. Yeah, I'm not ruling out giving Erik Ten Hag a new contract. I just want him to earn it first. I want him to have earned it. I want him to do well with Man United this season, get us going in the right direction. Because his first season was very good. We were going in the right direction there, but then we basically just fell off a cliff last season, stylistically in every single possible way, really, apart from the FA Cup final win, which if he didn't win that one game, he would almost certainly have been sacked. So you're going to give this guy a new contract now after we finished 8th. It's unbelievable. It's actually unbelievable. I'm with you. If he does well this season, fantastic. Give him a new contract. If he's earned it, if he's got us, competitive, if he's got us playing a good style of football, attacking football, the Manchester United way, I'm all for it, guys, for rewarding performances. I'm all for it. I really am. But I'm not up for rewarding mediocrity, which is what we would be doing right now if we signed him up to a new contract, personally. Mike, thank you very much for your super chat. Getting in here from Australia, you legend. Cheers for that, bro. He says, mate, this is just speculation that Ten Hag's getting a new contract. No announcement from the club. I agree. It would be a massive mistake, though. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's no announcement from the club, but there are discussions underway. There are contract talks taking place right now, it seems. I mean, obviously we're going on what people like Fabrizio Romano are saying, Simon Stone, David Ornstein. These guys are obviously very reputable, and when they say that something's going on, usually that is the case. I mean, it's not the Mirror that's reporting this. If it was the Mirror, I wouldn't even be on here talking about it right now. The reality is that people like Fabrizio Romano, let me just get that up again there. Fabrizio Romano said that talks between Man United and Erik Ten Hag's agents are already underway and advanced, with all parties anticipating an agreement on a new contract. Ten Hag happy to sign and continue the project, while Ineos want to give him total trust for the future. Work in progress. So, this is happening, mate. I know you're saying it's speculation, but this is going on right now. There's negotiations taking place. And I guess they do want to have that show of confidence for him, as Fabrizio said at the end there. They want to give him total trust for the future. Right, okay, great. Well, you can do that without signing them up to a new 3 or 4 year deal and languishing yourselves in a potential 20 million, extra payoff that you're going to have to fork out. It's crazy. It is crazy to me. I don't know. It seems I'm in a minority here, but I'm just giving you my honest opinion, how I view it, how I see it. I think it makes sense to stick with him now, but I don't think it makes sense to sign him up to a new contract because he's not really earned it yet. Once he has earned it, if he does earn it, if we have a good season, fine. Give him a new contract. There's some facts you can't get away from, which are, we've won two trophies in the 2 years and he's got to 3 finals in the 2 years. Those are good. That is good. He's won things. He's a winner in that sense. We've won trophies. But the overall style, it's not just about one cup tournament. The FA Cup doesn't mean that much anymore, guys. It is a hugely important domestic trophy, of course. It's the oldest one in world football. It's the most prestigious domestic cup tournament in world football. But it doesn't mean all that much anymore. You know what means more? How you perform over a 38-game Premier League season. How you actually play as a team week to week. How you develop the team. How you coach the team. How you manage the team. These are the most important things. And also the Champions League obviously has a big factor as well. Like, that is the pinnacle of European football. That's obviously got to come into it. Those two competitions are hugely more important than the FA Cup, to be perfectly honest, guys. They just are. So, yeah, okay, fine, we won the FA Cup, but what about all the other problems that are currently facing Man United's side? I don't quite get it. What's Mrs. P phoning me for here? Mrs. P, I'm live on YouTube right now.
Oh, sorry, Baz, I had no idea.
Everything all right?
Yeah, no, I was just popping to Asda and just making sure there was nothing else you needed.
Oh, okay, just a couple of those salads and a bit of that sweet chili chicken would be nice.
Okay then, Baz, sorry.
Okay, thanks. See you in a bit. Bye.
Bye.
Right. Sorry, guys. I thought it might have been something urgent and important there, because usually, she's not phoning me during my streams, so I thought it might be something important there. It's not. It's just down to getting something from Asda there, folks. Oh, goodness me. Hello there. What's going on there, TCG Hub? Welcome in, lad. New contract is fine, but a year extension. Okay, fair enough. Well, okay. If it's reported in a bit that, they have basically given him just a year's contract extension, I could probably live with that, mate. I could live with that, yeah. But in regards to giving him a 3 or 4 year contract, it's just madness, isn't it? It's just kind of absolute madness. It sort of reminds me of that time a few years ago when Man United signed Phil Jones up to a new contract, which was, £100,000 a week? It doesn't really make sense. That was crazy when we gave Phil Jones a new contract extension and kept him at the club for another 3 or 4 years of absolute dross. This could potentially be the same thing if that's what happens. Still think that he could go and turn it around, but let's see him turn it around first before we reward him with a new deal. Sweet chili chicken, some man-sized tissues, respect. Yeah, well, Ollie had us in second over 38 games. That didn't matter then or now. No, he got us to a Europa League final. We only lost on penalties. Then a couple of months later, he was sacked. So, surely we've got to have some sort of continuity at this football club, Okay, Arnab, I like your question there, Arnab. Thank you for your comment. By the way, everyone, if you're just getting in the stream, I know it's a polarising topic, this, and, my opinion's my opinion. You don't have to share the opinion, but it is my opinion, and, if you're here listening to it, I respect you. But do us a favour on this video and smash that like button on it. Let's get 100 likes on this video. Every little thumbs up will help the stream out, help the channel out, help us on the algorithm. Give us a little thumbs uppage if you haven't done so. That would be very kind. Also, share it around on the Twitter or wherever you can. That'd be amazing. And have your say in the live chat here. Arnab, what's my realistic expectations next season in the Premier League? So in the Premier League, lad, well, with Ten Hag here, I don't think we spend big in the summer, because why would they back him with a couple of $100 million investment when they've already done that last season? He's already spent $400 million. I don't think we see a miraculous change in personnel this summer, personally, because of the fact he's already spent kind of badly at least half of the time, right? So because of that, I don't think we're going to see a miraculous change in personnel this summer if Ten Hag stays. If we'd have got rid of Ten Hag and they got a new manager in, they probably would have spent big. But because he's here, I doubt that they're going to spend big, which means that I don't think we're going to see a miraculous shift in the way that we've been doing things, personally. I think Ten Hag struggles again in the new coming season. I think we'll do better than we did last year, because I think it's almost impossible to do as badly as that again. When you're Man United and you've got a squad of players that we have, okay, it's not the top 2-3 squads in the league, but it should be a team capable of challenging for top 4 and getting top 4. You know, you've got Bruno Fernandes, you've got Rashford, you've got Casemiro, you had, you know, lots of great players throughout the team that, you know, would get into a lot of good teams. So I don't really hold that, you know, I don't really think that the excuse is, oh, we've got an 8th place team and that's as good as he could have done. Definitely not. I think we definitely underperformed with the set of players that we had this season just gone. So we should do better than we have done this last season, but how much better? I mean, to answer your question, I think if Ten Hag stays, we can realistically expect to finish 5th this season. You know, 5th in the league, which is probably where we would have finished if we didn't have all of those injury issues. But even the injury issues doesn't make up for all of the problems that we have fundamentally with the play style and the way we've gone about it as a team. So I would say 5th. Let's ask the live chat though, guys. Let's get a little question into the live chat there. If Erik Ten Hag stays and he continues until the end of the season, next season, where do you think that we will finish? I'm thinking the best we can hope for is 5th place, based on how he's done over the last year and how we've played. Unless there is going to be a complete change in philosophy and the way we're going about it and actual fundamental coaching. The way we defend is a joke. It's a joke. I don't care that we've got players coming in and out the side injury-wise. How about just learning the fundamentals of organisation? How about just doing the fundamentals right, you know, marking goal side on set pieces and, you know, and having organisation and having a line and having a little bit of looking, you know, solidity. It's not exactly inventing the wheel in regards to how we can do better coaching-wise. You know, surely he should be able to coach this set of players much better than we've seen, regardless of the injuries. So I don't get it. I think there should be a continuity with how we play. If a player comes in and out the side, you've got to have somebody else come in. But the style, the way we play, shouldn't really change. Maybe your quality is going to change a little bit because you've gone from having, you know, a really great player in the first team to then having to use a second string player. That is going to make a difference. But the actual methods, the style, the organisation, that shouldn't really change, in my opinion. Certainly not the ethos of how we're going about it. Certainly not the attacking football. Just because you've put in a player who's covering somebody who's injured doesn't mean that you should go from playing attacking-based football to playing dash-tastic rubbish, no bollocks, no control in the midfield, losing possession every single time, getting turned over, conceding chance after chance after chance after chance, guff, unorganised football. That doesn't make sense to me. So, you know, that's where I'm at with it. 4th place, says Connor, 5th or 6th. If the players turn up 5th or 6th, you need UCL football. Yeah, me too. Well, that's exactly what the bare minimum for United should be. We should be bare minimum getting top 4. I mean, it's quite sad what's happened to this club. It is down to Glazer shithouses over the years, obviously, running this club into the ground. We should be not happy with 4th. When we were growing up, when I was growing up as a youngster, wouldn't have been happy with 4th, guys. I know it's a totally different time and you can't live in the past. But Man United as a club, we should never be happy with 4th. We should only really be happy with challenging for the title, winning trophies. That's all we should really be happy with. I know we're not in that place right now, so we have to be realistic. But this club has massively slipped, guys. It's massively slipped to the point where we're finishing 8th place with a -1 goal difference and we're potentially rewarding the manager with a new contract. It's slipped, guys. 3rd, says Josh Lee, 5th or 6th in Europa. At best, we're 2nd, at worst, we're 8th. That's too big of a gap to make up one season again. Yep, spot on, agreed. Rajat, how you doing? Let McTominay go. Well, I mean, McTominay's kind of encompasses what's kind of wrong with this football club, really, which is that he is a good player, but he's not a great player. And he's kind of somebody that he's gonna dine out on this season that's just gone for a while now. You know, the few seasons before that, he was crap. This season just gone, he was good. He is good. He is a good squad player. He is a good impact player. He can get you a goal. But he's going to dine out on that for a long time now. You know, if Man United really had any bollocks about us, we'd be moving players like that on and replacing them with much better players. He is a good player and he does have bottle, and I like his fight and I like his passion. Cool, nice one. It only gets you so far, though. Like, Man United need better. We need a lot better. But actually, as a squad player, he's not really a problem. He's not a problem. He's not really a starter, is he? He's just somebody that's going to get in the team every now and then, come off the bench. You know, that's what he should be anyway. If he's starting week to week, there's a big fundamental problem with the selection of the team because he is not really a top-tier player. Chris Koo, thanks for your comment. He says, here's a question. Are we going to have Europa next season? I thought two teams with the same owner couldn't compete in the same competition. Big. Yeah, that's right. Well, what about, there was something to do with Manchester City, you know, last season, and you know, but I think I saw a report the other day that said that we are allowed to compete in the Europa League this season as well. Obviously Nice is a problem, yeah, because obviously Sir Ratcliffe has got that vested interest there as well, so I guess it remains to be seen. But I did see a report the other day that said it's not going to be an issue for us, so I'm assuming we're in the Europa League. Yeah, I'm assuming that's the case. Yeah, leave McBaller alone. Look, McTominay's a good lad. I like him. He's got something about him, you know. I certainly prefer him to a lot of players who don't seem to turn up and have that fight in him. He's definitely got fight and hunger in him. But, you know, but he's just a squad player for me. He's the type of guy that you bring on the pitch when you're a goal down and you need somebody to go up the top of the pitch there and get in good goal-scoring positions and use his physicality and use his goal-scoring prowess. Because it's not like he's a 30-goal-a-season man, but he has actually got serious abilities when it comes to scoring goals. He did it over the last 12 months quite a lot for United and Scotland. And he's a goal scorer. He can get you a goal. He's not a deep-lying midfielder. He's not a defender. He's not a defensive midfielder, in my opinion. That might be his, you know, his position on paper, but it doesn't actually really work well for him. I don't think he reads it well. I don't think he even really is that great in the tackle, even though he's physical. He's not that great in the tackle. But in terms of like getting forward, in terms of making a goal happen, he is good. So I like him in that sense. I would keep McTominay, just to be honest. I would keep McTominay in the squad to use him as an impact player. I think he's got a goal in him. But other than that, it's not the standard that we need. He's our second striker. Yeah, basically he is our second striker. Yeah, make the most of it, says McTominay's stats for Scotland are epic. Second most goals from open play, can play DM or attacking. He has outperformed many so-called better players. He also has the bollocks. Fair one. For Scotland, he is absolutely great. He's one of the best players, absolutely, you know. And he's even gone back and played in the centre-back position for Scotland. You know, he's gone up further up the pitch and played up top and scored goals. He's played in the midfield. You know, so he's versatile in that sense. He's not a problem for me, Scott McTominay, you know. He was previously, but he showed a bit this season. He's shown that he's a good goal scorer and he can get you a goal. And for that reason, he's a useful addition to the squad, or a useful player to have in the squad. But that's it. He shouldn't be starting games. He absolutely should not be starting games. Yeah, exactly. He's not great at intercepting, yet great shout. Dante, what's good, you legend? He comments, we're not letting many go, I don't think. Too many holes already with a threadbare squad. Need a striker, CDM, CM and centre-back as a minimum. Well said, Dante. Yeah, there's two reasons why I don't think we're going to let that many people go this summer, even though we should get rid of 6 or 7. Well, the first one being Ten Hag stays. They're not going to go and spend 200 million on this guy who's already spent badly, and he might not even last out a few months into the season, so they'll probably rather spend not that much this summer and wait until there's a little bit more of a positive situation at the football club, either with Ten Hag here in January or next summer, or with a new manager replacing Erik Ten Hag potentially at some point to go and invest in. So that's one of the reasons. The other reason why I don't think we're going to really get that many new signings is because, well, you know, we're just, I don't know if we're that much of an appealing football club to even play for right now. You might be able to attract a certain type of player who's coming for money, but that's not the certain type of player we should really be buying. We should be looking at the younger, hungrier players, you know, the players who have really got a bit of fight and bollocks in them, who want to try and kick on in their careers. But unfortunately, I think that the top players around the world that, you know, we should be looking at probably won't want to play for Man United right now, because if they're signing for Ten Hag, they're signing for a manager who might not be here that long. They're signing for a club with issues from the top down, with ownership and leadership and struggling problems at the club all over the place. You know, the bloody stadium's leaking, got a leaking roof. It's like fucking Niagara Falls every other fucking week. So and also we haven't got Champions League football. We've just finished 8th. There's turmoil at the football club. Like, Man United are not really in the market for the top players right now, I don't think, which is a real shame, because obviously we could do with some top players. So I think it's a case of Ten Hag taking the players that he's got, developing some of the youth talents in the squad further. Yeah, sure, we'll sign a few players. Of course we'll sign a few players, and we'll probably get rid of a few players. But I don't think it's going to be the miraculous player exodus that we were hoping for, of 6 or 7 players sacked off in the summer and, 6 or 7 new signings coming in for big money. I don't think we're going to see that. Great to see you, though, by the way, you absolute legend, Mr. Dan Tay, lad. Would you still sell Maguire? Just want to know. Would I sell him? I'd fucking give him away, lad. Of course. Look, he's a good player, isn't he? He's a decent lad. He's a nice guy. He's come back from adversity. He had a good season. Ten Hag, used him quite a lot this season due to the fact we had a lot of injuries. And, he did well. He did well for him. But did he do well for a Manchester United centre-half? Not really, boss. We need more. And plus, he's kind of run his course at the club. Like, what's his role going to be? It's not going to be starting in every game next season. He's going to be a backup at best. We need to sign new players to make this squad better. He's actually a good player. He's actually a good player for the right team. If you're a team that doesn't play, on the front foot all the time and isn't an attacking outfit and, doesn't have the ball most of the time, and, then he's good, because you can play him in a low block side. He's a great low block defender. He can clear the ball away. He can pass out from the back. He's big. He's strong. He's physical. He can head the ball. He's good in that sense. But in regards to actually being on the front foot, he leaves you exposed just down to his pace alone. That's it with Maguire. It's just his pace alone means that when you are broke upon by a counter-attacking team, he hasn't actually got the physical attributes to get back where you need him to get back quick enough. And so you are going to be exposed several times throughout the course of a campaign just through his physicality alone, just through his lack of physicality alone, his lack of pace. And so he's a good low block defender, but Man United should not be playing low block football. We should be the team that's got loads of the ball, that's in control of much of the possession of the game against 99% of teams. We should be attacking, having more chances than the opposition. Basically, I want to see our back line, on the halfway line when we've got the ball in the opposition half, and not have that sense that when we lose the ball, that our back line's just going to get immediately exposed because we can't get back into position. Which is what we've got currently with Maguire. He's just not the right type of player for Man United. Not that he's not a good player, because he is a good player, but he's just not a great player, and he's not the right type of player for us. Kate Cadet, what's happening, lad? Great to see you, lad. How you doing? Oh, that's awesome, mate. Your daughter won the Easter bonnet contest at school this year by drawing Ten Hag's face on an egg. That's got to be the easiest way to paint an egg, doesn't it? That really does. It's half the job's done for you already. Do you know what I mean? Josh Hawkins says, all I've seen was people saying Ten Hag in, now he's got a new contract, everyone's mad. Do people really think Thomas Frank or Poch could have done better? No, I don't think those guys would have done better. Absolutely not. I don't think everybody's mad. In fact, earlier on I asked the question, and most of the live chat said yes, he probably should get a new contract. It's just that I think that a lot of us don't think he deserves it, because why are you rewarding somebody that finished 8th with that -1 goal difference and is playing so badly? Like, we want to see somebody get a new contract who earns it and deserves a new contract. That goes for a player, that goes for a manager, that goes for anybody, really. Surely it should be a performance-based industry. You shouldn't just hand out new contracts to people just because you want to show them trust or faith or confidence. That shouldn't really be the case. You should be earning that contract. I've got no problem with giving Erik Ten Hag a new contract in a year's time after he's earned it and shown that he can turn this football club around and get us competitive again and get us playing good football. Fine, give him a new contract. But I don't understand it when he's got a year left, when we could potentially have an out in a year's time, when, if he's failed in this coming season, then we've got an easy out, don't we? We can go and appoint somebody else. Why would we tie ourselves further to a manager that may or may not succeed at this football club? It's bizarre. Stuart Zeckman, thank you so much, my son. Thank you so much, Stuart Zeckman, for getting in here with a $20 super chat, lads. Ooh, get some big love in there for Stuart Zeckman. Thank you, Stuart. Appreciate you, my lad. He says, good day. Here's the counter-argument for a new contract. No lame duck manager. Ineos review. Even Ipswich Town's manager damaged Ten Hag with no new contract. He's months from exit and players can wait him out. Thoughts? Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, they've basically been, interviewing for his job. It seems like, anyway, if you believe the speculative reports in the media, they've basically been at least sounding out his job while he's still the manager, obviously. If there was the right guy that they could have got in there, they probably would have got rid of him. They've been working behind the scenes. Like you say, we've heard that there's been talks with Tuchel over the last couple of weeks, and he doesn't want the job. Maybe if he wanted the job, maybe they would have sacked Ten Hag. But he didn't want the job. They've looked at other managers. None of them really fit the bill. The Pochettinos of this world, good coach, but not a winner. And all the rest of them don't really have the big experience that Man United requires to take this job and be confident in the new appointment that they will go and make us instantly better. You don't really get that confidence from any of those managers that we've looked at. So... yeah, so there you go. That's why he's still here. But giving him a new contract, I mean, I suppose maybe they want to do this because they've been interviewing for somebody else, or they've been looking for somebody else. Maybe that's the reason. So they've basically shown no confidence in him the last 2 weeks after the FA Cup, because if they had have shown confidence in him, they'd have probably come out immediately after the FA Cup and said, let's just get used to the fact that Ten Hag's our guy. We've got full confidence in him for the new season. We will be invested in him in the transfer window. Ten Hag's our manager. Accept it. They would have probably done that much sooner. But in that couple of weeks post-FA Cup, they have been sounding out other managers, which means that Ten Hag, in terms of his own confidence for the job and his own faith that his job is safe, is probably at an all-time low, right? So maybe that's why they give him a contract, just to say, just because it's the cheaper option, just because it's the option that says, hey, we do have confidence in you. Don't worry. We're not just going to sack you off in a few months' time. You are our guy. You are our manager. And so therefore we're going to give you a new deal. That's the only real logic that I can think of why they would give a new contract. But it's still stupid, in my opinion. Like you say, with no new contract, he's months from exit. If he doesn't perform in the first few months of the season, you can sack him off and you don't have to pay a huge termination fee, or you could go and sign a new manager who might become available later on or next summer if he's still underperformed and been lackluster in regards to his management and coaching of the side. So that's what I would do. My opinion is, if I was the board at Manchester United, I would say to Erik Ten Hag, well done on the FA Cup. Man United was shite, though, this season. You've got to get this team performing to a much better standard. Look, if you do get us playing much better football, if you do get Champions League qualification, if we are a complete outfit next season and play good Man United football, then we'll give you a new contract then, lad. And you'll have earned it then. Prove yourself over this season, because it's on the back of a very poor season. Prove yourself, then we'll give you a contract. But right now, I wouldn't even entertain giving him a contract. Because what if he doesn't perform? What if we go backwards even more? What if we stay the same? Staying the same would destine us to another absolute season of mediocre guff. And so for that reason, I just think, there's no reason to give him a new contract right now. Give him a new contract end of the next season if he's earned it. Or get rid of him easily. So I can't buy it, guys. I don't understand the logic. Yeah, that's what it is. No good coach available. Yeah, there is no good coach available. But do you sign him up to a new contract just because there's no good coach available? I mean, it sounds pretty crazy, doesn't it? It's like, I don't know, you're in a relationship with somebody, they've cheated on you. They're a scumbag. I don't know, they've cheated on you. They're a dirtbag. You've got nothing in common with them. You've decided they're evil. You've decided they're no good for you. Whatever the case may be. But just because you can't get any other bird, you've decided that you're going to marry them for 25 years. It's insane. You don't do that. You're better off with somebody else, surely, or even with the potential of somebody else, rather than just sticking yourself up for a long-term contract. That's actually a really bad analogy, but you know what I'm trying to get at. It's just like, it's desperation is what it is. Yeah, and exactly, the football was rubbish this season. Look at this guy's name. Altios. That's a good one, lad. Instead of Ineos, it's Altios. That's a good one, lad. Anyway, Right, let me just cover the latest news here, guys. It's the one thing to keep Ten Hag, but it's another to give him a new fucking deal. Well said, Kate Cadet. I don't buy it either. I'm with you, boss. An awful marriage brings back memories. Better off playing with yourself at home. Oh, keep her till you get a new bird in place. Easy, eh? Fair play to you, Paul. I like your style. But you don't marry her, though, do you? Do you know what I mean? And if you do, you put a prenuptial agreement in the contract, mate. Do you know what I mean? We need a little clause that says, hey, Ten Hag, if you're not in top 4 by Christmas, we can terminate for nout. You know? That's kind of what you need. We need a prenuptial agreement with this Erik Ten Hag individual. Right, let's get into the other little bits and bobs of information we've got here, guys. Thank you for listening and getting your thoughts in there. I appreciate you. Once again, we've got the Twitter link posted at the top of the live chat. There it is. Go and click that link. Give us a repost. We'll shout you all out in a few minutes' time. Everyone that reposts and helps spread the word of the show. Give us a share. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe if you're new to the channel. All that jazz. We're going to be coming thick and fast now with the United news videos. There will be another one tonight. We're going to do 2 a day for the time being. Obviously, the Euros are coming up, so we're going to do the watch-alongs for then. So we'll see how many we can pump out then. But we're going to cover all the latest day's United news with an afternoon video around about this sort of time. And also an evening video, around about 9 or 10, discussing all the evening's news that comes out too. So that's kind of the schedule going forward for the summer. Get yourself involved. Click the bell icon, all that jazz. Nice one. So just to reiterate, Ten Hag happy with the decision. Reports from the likes of Fabrizio and Simon Stone, etc., that there are contract negotiations taking place and that it's quite close to being agreed, really. Simon Stone has also said that the FA Cup final was a huge factor in Erik Ten Hag keeping his job. I think it's the only factor in him keeping his job personally. I don't think he would still be here if we did not win that FA Cup. Personally, because as I've said, if you look at these stats, we've got the stats here for the season and the Premier League campaign: 38 matches, 18 wins, 6 draws, 14 losses, 60 points. I mean, whichever way you look at it, that's shite. And then the Champions League: 6 games, 1 win, 1 draw, 4 losses out in the group stage. Absolutely awful. So the FA Cup is the only reason he kept his job, blatantly. Let's just get onto this topic very quickly before we get into, the chat. Greenwood, I want to mention it because there is some speculative reports going around at this moment in time that Greenwood is close to or could potentially be leaving Manchester United to join Juventus for somewhere in the region of 50 million. Remains to be seen, obviously. It is just kind of speculative stuff at this moment. Would you keep or sell Greenwood to Juventus for 50 mil, guys? Keep or sell Greenwood for 50 mil to Juventus? Let us know. So my take on it is that, get rid, get as much money as you can and start to invest in other players in the team that we could potentially improve. Not that Greenwood's not a good player, he's a great player, but the problems with Mason Greenwood are apparent, There's that stigma attached to him now. There's that audio clip which is out there, which isn't going anywhere. It's a political nightmare. It's a PR nightmare. It's a nightmare to keep Mason Greenwood at the football club. Now, he can go somewhere else where, they probably will have some sort of backlash in some way, but it's not going to be the same as this fan base right here. He was at this football club while these alleged atrocities took place. So, it's just because that audio clip's out there the reason why I say, no, you can't really have somebody representing your football club who's got that persona, So that's where I'm at with it. I think Greenwood is a talent. It's a loss for us. In a lot of ways, is an academy product. Go back a few years, we're talking about Mason Greenwood potentially winning future Ballon d'Ors and stuff. He was that good as a youngster, looking so full of potential and actually stepping up and performing like somebody well beyond his years. But you've also got to have not just the football ability, you've also got to have the right profile to be a Manchester United player too. And, so that's where we're at, really. We've got Garnacho, we've got Maida, we've got these great youngsters. We don't want to have that negative PR spin on the season. If we were to introduce Mason Greenwood back into the squad, he would be a better option for us on that right-hand side than basically anybody. Basically, Anthony Dos Santos, Amad Diallo, I think he's a better option. But from a non-football point of view, he's a very bad option because it just causes issues for the squad, for the team. I mean, there's probably players in that squad that don't want Mason Greenwood back either. I would imagine the majority of them, probably matey with him, probably would want him back. But surely there's some that just think he's a bit of a wrong'un, So that one in itself causes some issues. And then you've got the problem with the fan base backlash. Then you've got the media who would absolutely pile on Manchester United as they already do. Then you've got the opposition fan bases who would absolutely pile on Man United. So it's just a horrible situation. We kind of just need to move on from it. we kind of need to try and raise as much capital as we can for his player sale. And if we can send him to Juventus, then, good riddance, to be fair, guys. Good riddance. That's how I feel. So there you go. Greenwood and Sancho, 80 million. Yeah, that's it. I mean, yeah, potentially we could maybe generate good cash this summer. We've got a lot of players we need to sell. I mean, who knows if anybody's going to want players like Harry Maguire as well, potentially to purchase. But as you've just said, a couple of really, really saleable players there in Mason Greenwood and Sancho. Those guys could definitely generate a good amount of cash. Maybe the club would not look to invest heavily in Ten Hag for the reasons we discussed earlier this summer, while he's here in a short-term capacity, maybe. So, yeah, maybe sell players and use the money to reinvest and buy new players. That's probably what they're going to do this summer. I don't think you're going to see mad investment in Ten Hag due to the fact that he spent our money pretty badly over the years. Sell, even though you put the personality guy aside, he's a hell of a footballer. Yeah, absolutely. He is a very good footballer and he would improve our team. But he'd also cause us a lot of issues off of the pitch, I think. Imagine George Best and social media. Yeah, well, these guys back then, certainly some of these lads were pretty lucky that it was before that time, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah, we need to sell him to offset the £80 million we paid for Anthony. All right, I'm going to get into the live chat now, folks. Anyway, let's get stuck into the live chat. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We're going to stick into the live chat for a few minutes. Have your say. Get your thoughts and opinions in about anything we discussed. Ten Hag's new contract, Greenwood, whatever. Let's get into it. Smash the like. And I'm just going to, before I do actually, go over and shout out all the reposters on Twitter here. Thank you so much. You can give us a follow at Flying Pig United if you want, anyway. Big up yourselves. We've got a few reposts here. Thank you very much to Furkan, Aaron, Raj, and the Butcher of Manchester for giving us a repost there. You absolute bloody legends. Josh Dunn, much love to you guys. Thank you so much for giving us a repost. Every little helps. Right, let's get stuck in to the chat. Get your thoughts and opinions in. You're worried no one will pick up Mag's wages even if he's cheap. Yeah, no, they probably won't pay him what we've got, anywhere near what we would pay him. You're absolutely right. But it's a statement from Man United to say, hey, we will pay a remainder of the deal. I think that's important. You might have to make a loss on some of these guys, but it gets rid of the guff bang average players, and it also makes a statement that we are trying to move forward as a football club. Arsenal did it with Aubameyang, so why can't we do it? And that was good for them. Love you too, Keanu Steve. Thank you so much, lad. Doesn't matter if Erik Ten Hag gets his shit together. If the players don't perform, then he's gone. Yep, true. Well, it's on him to get rid of the players that have not performed, isn't it? Listen, if he starts selecting the same old guff, Anthony Dos Santos, 29 games in the Prem, 1 game, 1 goal, 1 assist. If he starts the season and continues in that vein, yet still gets selected, Ten Hag's making his own bed, isn't he? But if he actually rewards good performances, doesn't play players just based on name or reputation or hype, Rashford shouldn't have played anywhere near the amount of games he did this season. And I liked Rashford, obviously, from the previous season, but he's not turning up to training, he's not performing on the pitch, he's not putting in the effort levels, it seems. Why are you still getting in the team? That's it. Ten Hag's got to get rid of players that don't perform for him and sign new players that do. If he does that, we could see a much better United side. But if we continue with the same guff, tried and tested guff, not much is going to change. A fair play to you, J United. Yeah, I respect your take on it, lad. That's good for you, lad. Good for you. Paul S, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. He says, Cantona karate kick these melts out. Yeah. I mean, that would be a big factor, wouldn't it? If we did have a better set of players. But I still believe that a different coach, let's just say it, a better coach, in the last season just gone, with the same players, could have got a lot more out of them. I still believe that personally. So it's not just the players. But obviously a lot of the players are a problem, yeah. Do you think Ten Hag would make a good Zordon in Power Rangers? Yeah, good one. I think he'd make a good Bulk or Skull as well, lad. Do you know what I mean? Zordon. Why are we hanging on to shit players, Pig? Well, because, we're probably not going to be investing a huge amount this summer, lad. That'll be it. I mean, I was expecting us to see more players gone already, or at least, transfer listed on the. We've seen Varane leave, we've seen Martial leave. There has been a couple of outs. Varane not really a big problem for us, though, was he? He was actually a good player, just injury prone, but he was good. It's really a lot of the other players we discussed that have just not really been up to the standard over the years. People like Maguire, people like, if you look at Rashford's season just gone, it was pretty pathetic. If you look at, some of the other players like Lindelof, is he really Man United standard? You know, he might be a decent backup, but is he happy doing that? Is he Man United standard? You know, there's many players in this team. You know, Anthony Dos Santos is a bad player, in my opinion. Not a bad player, but he's not good enough to be Man United player based on how he performs for the club. And that's a big thing, you know. And he's signed by Erik Ten Hag. I personally don't think Onana's a good enough number one for us. I think we need better. He's good, but he's not great, and we should have somebody who's great. Oh yeah, he was absolutely class, wasn't he? Absolutely class in that final. Shame he can't stay fit. Yeah, I know. I'm not too sure, Chris Koo, really. I mean, maybe if there was a good offer on the table, perhaps PSG or something, maybe he would consider it. Maybe we would consider selling him. But I don't think Rashford's going anywhere. No, we've paid him a huge contract. He's 350k a week. He is kind of a, you know, Manchester United player in the sense that he's obviously a Mank-born and bred academy product. That really does account for a lot. They're going to give him chance after chance after chance. Eventually, they probably will get tired of him and maybe move him on, but I don't think we're close to it just yet, personally. But his body language after the FA Cup was interesting, having a cry and all that, yeah. Luke Shaw needs to go. Well, there's another one. I think Luke Shaw's good. I genuinely think Luke Shaw is a good player. But is he a great player? Is he a Patrice Evra? Is he a Dennis Owen? Nowhere near. And Man United should be looking for greats, not good, in all fairness. Yep, floppy wrist syndrome. Mate, Inner Tama, thank you very much for your super chat. Says, what do you think is the risk that United become a cup club? Which clubs do you think are cup clubs? Nice one, Inner Tama. Yeah, so definitely there is. Definitely there is. When I was growing up in the 90s, there was cup clubs, wasn't there? Like Chelsea were a cup club. You know, Villa were a cup club. You know, these sorts of teams, they do well in the they're just looking for a trophy, basically. They can't compete in terms of the league. They're not challenging for first. They're not winning the league. They're not winning Champions League. They're a cup club, right? That's true. Spurs, for instance, they won the 2008 League Cup. That's all they've won in the last however many years. You know, that's it. They're a cup club, aren't they? Man United are definitely in trouble when it comes to potentially becoming just that, yeah. I mean, unless we start challenging for the league, unless we start winning the league, that is what we are. I mean, we've gone 10 years without winning the league now. We've won trophies, though. You can't argue with that. So, you know, we are a cup club in that sense. We've won the Europa, we've won the League Cup, we've won the FA Cup. You know, we've won stuff. But if we're not careful, that's all we'll be. Yeah, great shout. Yeah, there you go. Palace, Spurs, Arsenal. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Spuds Cup Club. Well, I mean, they're not a cup club in the sense that they win a lot of cups. It's just that they can only really hope to win the cups. They're not really a league challenger ever, are they? Sir Frank says, I knew you'd mention us. Never get tired of poking at us. Steady show. All right, steady on there. That's why I said it shows. Hey, fair play. Right, I'm going to read a couple more of your comments out, guys. Get your thoughts in. Love Shaw, but he should be a backup. Yeah, no, Shaw's a decent player. Shaw's a good player. But yeah, is he really capable of getting into, you know, Premier League 11s, you know, or World 11s and things like that? Definitely not, no. But he is a good player. I mean, look, he's an England international. He's getting the England set up. He is a good player, definitely. If you can stay winning cups while you sort yourself out for a league challenge, that's the best place to be. No, that's true. That's true. But I think what he was saying there is just, is it on the verge of maybe just becoming that? Will we get top four this season? No, I don't think so, mate. No, not with Ten Hag as the manager, not with a huge investment in the club, not with lots of players going, lots of players signed, and not with a new style of play, new approach, new coaching methods. I don't think so. I think we'll see more of the same. We won't finish 8th because 8th was just unbelievably gash for even the squad we had. I think we'll finish 5th, but I don't think we're going to get top 4, lads. He can play for England, but not United. Well, that's the same. You know, you could say that for the same for like Harry Maguire. England have a different set of requirements than Manchester United do. So even though Maguire's like a great player for England, he's not been a great player for Man United. It's a different style, different tactics, different team, to be fair. Paul S., thank you for your super chat again, lad. Paul going in there raw. Says United will be one step closer to the league title when 115 FC is playing in League 2. We can hope, mate. We really can hope. I mean, we might even get given or awarded a league title if those City scummers are actually punished to the full extent that they should be. You thought Malacia might have died. Right, yeah, I know. It's a shame that he wasn't featuring in last season, just gone, eh? Have faith, Pig, on your new old manager. Thanks to SJR. Fair play, Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Yeah, fair play, lad. Yeah, good call, good call. Thank you for that, by the way, Paul, lad. I appreciate you. Right, I'm just going to read one or two more out then, folks. Then we're going to wrap this video up. But please do hit the likes, give us a subscribe. Come back later on tonight for the evening news. We'll give you the latest goings on as and when there's news. But obviously from now on, we're going to be doing afternoon shows, evening shows, the lot. So come and have your say later on as well tonight. Click the bell icon so you don't miss the streams. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch and Kick. And that way you can keep up to date with when the streams are dropping, etc. Finished 8th was due to injuries and due to players like Rashford not showing up when called upon. Jay, Ten Hag selected Rashford when he didn't turn up for training the next week. Ten Hag kept selecting Rashford after he didn't turn up, as you've just rightfully said, and he kept playing him. Whose fault's that? Do you know what I mean? Whose fault's that, though? I get it. Rashford's let us all down. Rashford didn't perform. Rashford was gash, but then he kept playing him. Anthony Dos Santos was gash. Anthony Dos Santos wasn't effective, didn't perform, but he kept playing him. Do you see the point I'm making? It's not just the players, it's also the manager's decisions. He could have played Ahmad Diallo earlier. He could have not let Pellistri go out on loan. We could have made other decisions, other choices. He's chosen to do that. So make your bed, lie in it. Sorry to say, he decided to do that, lad. You know? Right, anyway, but we do need to get rid of a lot of guff players and sign a lot of new good players. Where would you want United to be after 10 games into the season? Well, we'd need to be, you know, in the top 4 spots. Absolutely, Mark. We would. Josh Lee, get in there, my son. Thank you so much, lad. Yeah, probably Disco Dave. They're already trying to, you know, legally screw the rest of the Premier League right now, aren't they? Ten Hag needs to stop the favourites like Rashford, Anthony and Onana. Definitely, yes. Sticking with Andre Onana is another good example. Because he signed him for 50 mil, he has to stick with his guy. Mark N, what's going on, Mark, you legend? He says Greenwood 180 incoming. Filth, absolutely filth, Mark. Maybe it could happen. I doubt it personally, but it could happen. Mate, thank you, Chris Koo. Thank you so much. It's nice to have the news shows back. Thank you, Chris Koo. It's good to be back doing them, lad. Yeah, we'll build them up, lad. We'll grow them up again. And thank you for everyone who's joined us today for this one. Absolute legends. Ahmad injured for 6 months. Anthony had more goals and assists than Sancho in his first season. Do you know how many goals and assists Anthony had last season in the Premier League, Mark? 2. 1 goal, 1 assist in 29 Premier League games. 2. You think that's good? Anyway, guys, I'm going to have to wrap this video up, but thank you so much for getting in. Come back afterwards, get your thoughts and opinions in the not live comment section about Ten Hag's new potential contract, about Ten Hag staying, about Greenwood, whatever you want to say. Come back and get your thoughts and opinions in, guys. Have your say. Thank you for watching. Piggy loves you. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch and Kick at Flying Pig United. Thank you, Mark N. I appreciate you, lad. Plenty of content coming, lad. Loads of transfer news videos, loads of Man United updates, and loads of European Championship watch-alongs and stuff as well. So keep yourself locked on the channel. That's it for me, guys. You're a bunch of legends. Josh Lee, big up yourself, lad. Rajat, Chris Koo, Connor, Rajat, Natalia Zamini, you legend, Disco Dave, and everyone else as well. Gaming stream tonight on the gaming channel, Flying Pig Gaming as well. And we'll be back on here about 9 or 10, somewhere around there, with an evening update for the latest United news of the evening. God bless you all. Piggy loves you. Stay classy. Thanks for watching. Come and have your say afterwards in the not live comments, and I'll see you on the next one. And remember, when the seagulls follow the trawler, as this is because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you very much.